Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and welcome once again to the Bourse Report. Everywhere I go, persons are asking me what's going to happen with oil price and what's going to happen to the TT currency. I do not have the answer for either. But what I will do today is take a look at what's happening with commodity prices across the world, what's happening with currencies across the world, take a quick look at equities, and make some suggestions as to what we can do in a rather limited way to hedge against currency deterioration, or as we like to call it, creeping devaluation in Trinidad and Tobago dollars. Let's start by looking at what's happening with commodities across the world. And I'll put forward this first graph, which shows what has been happening in 2015 as well as 2016. To the left of your screen, most importantly, is crude oil, WTI, which is the benchmark price against which we mark our oil sales. And you would see in 2015 that is down 30%. If you can go back to that particular graph, and in 2016 it's down 3.4%. As we shift across, what is happening with natural gas? Again, you could see in 2015 natural gas prices by Henry Hub, that is US dollar pricing in the US, 22% in 2015, and again in 2016, just 2 months of the year gone, and the price of natural gas is down by about 35%. We, of course, if you go to the next particular column, we, of course, sell our natural gas across the world, not just in the US. And you would see, for example, in Europe, Asia, Japan, and Latin America, we sell our gas. But even in those areas, what you see is a significant decline in terms of the commodity. What does it mean for us? It means lower generation of currency, US dollar hard currency, coming into country. As prices go down, we earn less in US dollars, and that has implications for what our currency exchange can be. Next, let's have a quick look now at what's happening with currencies across the world. And you would see in the next graph, 2015, one of the biggest losers in terms of the currency exchange of major currencies is Brazil. Its currency is down 49%. That is about half the value that it was against US dollars in 2015, and just a little uptick in 2016, that 5% green bar. South Africa is down 33%. And as you look to the extreme right of your screen, official rates in Trinidad and Tobago in 2015, the currency TT to US was down about 0.9%, and thus far this year it is about 2.3. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we go along. Now, that is the double whammy, but there is a triple whammy for investors who have been investing outside, and that is what's happening with equities across the world. So when you look at the next graph, you would see in terms of, well, we'll skip that graph and go to the currency. So what's happening with currency in terms of the official price, starting the year at 644 officially, and now 659. But that's only part of the story, because there is a black market that has been developing in the country, and word on the street is that the exchange in that particular area is at or about and in the range of about $7. Very significant. The question is, what is the volume that is being traded in that particular area? So those are some of the things that we need to look at. Now, what can we do? What are the limited measures we can take to protect our portfolio? Well, let's go to a table that I have prepared to take a quick look at some of the things that we can do as investors to mitigate the impact of the US dollar, TT dollar deterioration against the US dollar. Every time the currency goes down, we get poorer in international terms. And so we go to that table, managing in a TT deteriorating environment. One of the things that you need to do is make your US dollar work harder for you. So if you have US dollars in the banking system sitting in at a quarter of 1%, go out longer, as we have said, and look to get much better returns in the bond market and as well in the money markets, the US dollar money markets, where you can get 1%, 1.25% on your US dollars, as opposed to the quarter of 1% or less in the banks. In the equity space, what can you do? Well, there are some stocks that give you a reasonably good hedge in the market. The first is TTNGL. It earns all or most of its revenues in US dollars, so that even though it pays you dividend and its pricing is in TT dollars, you have a very strong hedge against deterioration of the US dollar. Secondly, First Caribbean. First Caribbean pays its dividend. You can buy the share in TT dollars in Trinidad, but you get your dividends from First Caribbean in US dollars. So if you want to access US dollars by investments, that's one way to do it. Sagicor declares its results in US dollars, but pays and declares dividend in US dollars, but pays the equivalent exchange in TT dollars. Those are three things that you need to look at. Unfortunately, there are plays that you can do with cross-listed stock, buying Jamaican stock in Trinidad and Tobago in TT dollars, sending them across to Jamaica and seeking to get US dollars. Those are some ideas that we have for you. If you need more advice on this particular matter and recommendations, you can call us at 628-9100 or send an email to us at bourseinvestments.com. Have yourself a wonderful investment week, and look for us on the newspapers as well as our website. This is Subhash Ramkilawan for the Bourse Report.